The 85 wealthiest individuals in the world have the combined wealth of the bottom 50% of the world. I'll say that again because it's a bit of a mind bender. The 85 richest people in the world have the combined wealth of the bottom 50% of the entire world population. That's wrong. Disparity is not a good thing. This is a film about me going to a poorer place and trying to help just one person. A fairly pathetic attempt to try and eradicate that gap, but it's a bit of fun. Hostel. Let's be in it from behind. An air raid siren going on. I'm having a bit of a panic because there's not a lot in the kitchen. I mean, in the fridge here we've got nothing. Hello, my name is Vinny. I'm British, but I live in Canada and have lived here for about 10 years. I am recently a permanent resident of Canada. I work here doing talk radio, so talking everything about the latest political events to how to get raccoons out of your garbage. You name it, we talk about it on News Talk 1010. It's a good job, it's a lot of fun. This is one of the most amazing stories I've read in a while. A Mexican castaway who says he spent more than a year adrift in the Pacific has pleaded to be taken home after washing up in the Marshall Islands. Emaciated and wearing only raggedy underpants, Mr. Ivan washed ashore when his boat floated onto a reef at a small, isolated island. He apparently survived the 5,000-mile, that's 8,000-kilometre ordeal by catching fish, birds and turtles with his bare hands. He was in really bad shape in terms of strength and in terms of mental health. I should think he was. That's why you need a ball called Wilson. We know that. And what blew my mind about this story even more, this isn't the first time this has happened. 3 Mexican fishermen were rescued off the Marshall Islands in August 2006 after what they said was about 9 months of drifting across the Pacific Ocean. We were very scared. We had to eat seabirds that we caught with our hands. I don't think I would be able to do that. This happened to me. There's no bloody chance that you'd see me going back with a full beard and knocking around in my pants on an island, going, yeah, I mean, it was a tough gig. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just grabbed a few seabirds and just jumped out of the boat and caught a fish in my hands, beat the crap out of that and ate it as sushi. Because what are you going to do? No, this is what you'd hear. You'd hear Vinnie White died tragically 5 days after he went off Mexican coast. He tried to swim back, the bloody idiot. There was a few boats in the area, but the short-sighted buffoon couldn't see them. He's dead. That's the best as I could ever hope for. And I'd be happy with that. If I'd made 5 days, I'd want someone at my funeral to say, he was very much a hero. He really tried. 13 months, shove it up your hoop, not going to happen. Toronto's safe and clean and has good restaurants, but it's very cold in winter. It's very hot in summer, but it's very cold in winter. And sometimes it can be a bit of a drag, like any Western civilization. Sometimes you just want to get out and do something a little less sterile. The restaurants are good, the public transport's reasonable, the people are friendly, and it's a cool place to live. But like anywhere, after a while, it's a bit of a drag. So it's time for a new challenge. I think we all realise that the world isn't fair, and it seems to be getting less fair in many ways. The wealth gap is getting bigger, and it annoys me, and I think it's become a moral obligation to do something about it. So I set myself a challenge to go to a developing country and help someone out, and in that process, hopefully learn how we, as a people, can help out people less fortunate than us. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was worth a shot. Trip, and it's -18 here at Toronto Pearson, and I've got a t-shirt on and a stupid little jacket, and I'm so cold that a little part of me just died inside. as I'm going to produce a single solitary tear any second and cower. You could cut glass with my nipples. So I'm going to go to Nicaragua now, which feels like a really fucking good idea. My first impressions of Nicaragua were, well, it's mad. It's madder than a box of frogs, or a bottle of eggs, or a hairy biscuit. It's unapologetically loud, stupendously passionate, and like the rest of Latin America, does whatever it wants without worrying about what it looks like. It's sort of like a loud, drunk uncle at a wedding. Confident, funny, and even though you know it's inappropriate, you're glad that he's there. Breaks up the boredom a bit. Nicaragua doesn't care about the stuff that people concentrate on in westernised countries. If you want to have a drink in the street, drink in the street. If you want to dance, dance. If you want to sleep on the side of the road, then that's fine too. And general celebrations here are to be had, and they're to be had all the time. They just want to have fun. Perfect timing then, that I immediately found myself in the celebrations of the recently re-elected Daniel Ortega. Ortega has just been voted in thanks to a kind of Vladimir Putin-style change in the constitution that made it okay for him to run yet another term. He wasn't supposed to do that, but he rewrote the constitution. And in a country historically shrouded in political instability and general dodginess, a quick bit of paperwork changed here is quite normal, really. So he's running yet another term, and people are happy about it. He's pretty well loved, and so it was that most people celebrate him running another term. It's a celebration about the election. It's sometimes easy to forget the poverty here. After all, they've got Disney and stuff, but they've also got goats tied to shopping carts. You don't see that much in Toronto. I wanted to start by finding more about the politics of the country. That way I might know where to start in my quest to help an individual with their life. Understanding the politics of a place should let me know where to find needy people, and it will save some embarrassment when meeting charities that are operating here already. First though, it was time to get a guide and to get stuck into the beating heart of the capital of Nicaragua, Managua. It's also the most populated town, and there's about 2 million people living there. About a third of the population of the country. Pretty busy, pretty bustling. So, where are we and what's all this about?
Okay, we're in Oriental Market. We're gonna see one of the point of the economy, the basic economy for the poor people in Nicaragua. So, what we see right now is the real life, what the poor people does every day. They work very hard under the sun, like you see right now.
There's pretty much nowhere in this country that isn't noisy. I wonder, what is the addiction to music here?
This keeps the people happy, because if you're here and you don't listen to anything, then you get bored.
So you might as well be happy and play music.
Exactly.
Much like most developing countries, the bustling market in the heart of the capital was amazing. So much going on and so many hard-working people that really don't make a very good living but do a lot of hours and come a lot of distances. A lot of music and banter and good times and crazy foods and all the stuff that you'd expect in a crazy market. The market had everything from knockoff shirts to swordfish. You name it, was all there. Bustling metropolis and a lot of people very hard working, not making a great living, often coming very long distances to sell their goods, whether it's fruit that they've picked or little snacks that they've made. There's poverty here, and some of the stories were very interesting.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
That's really good. It's like semolina or rice pudding. Do you think most Nicaraguan people are proud?
Many people is proud about our food, about we hard working. Because you see these people here, they're working hard. They trying. This lady is waking up every day, 4 a.m. in the morning.
No, she doesn't. Does she?
¿Y tiene hijos, niños? ¿Cuántos? 7 kids.
7?
7 kids.
7? Are you going to have any more?
This is an example of a hard-working person. She's a lady, you see? She's working hard.
Yeah.
And their kids.
So do all the 7 children manage to survive with the money that comes from this stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah. So without
Y
this,
sus hijos van a la escuela y todo. And they go to school.
all the children go to school?
All the children.
So without this, 7 children don't go to school. Or they go to school, but they don't have uniform, they don't have books, they don't have the transport, they don't have the bicycles to get there. This is her lifeline, this is everything.
This is economy.
Yeah.
Her economy.
And there might, I don't want to be rude, but let's be honest, she probably doesn't pay tax. But this is the unofficial economy in Nicaragua. This is the bones of the structure, right?
Exactly.
This is how people survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have another one then.
This is the base, yeah.
I'm going to have another one I'm going to have 7, one for each child.
In one situation, maybe other guy have a gun or other stuff, he can defend himself with that.
Has he ever had to use it before?
¿Alguna vez lo ha usado?
Sí, ya lo usaba por no de filo, solamente de lomo.
He have used it, but with this side, with not here.
Lomo? That's steak, isn't it?
Back.
Oh, on the back.
Yes.
Right, don't stab me, but just show me what you did. So, don't... So I try to steal something. Right, here we go. I'm going to steal something. Okay, I got him. I'm going for it. I've got him. Jesus Christ! I see. Right. Yeah, I don't ever want to mess with you. I don't want to mess with you.
Yeah, as capitals go, it's all right, I suppose. There's a lot of countries in the world where the capital really isn't that impressive. The whole place got flattened in the 70s, so there's not much to look at. There was an earthquake, and no one's really got around to really building anything very special. There's no particular centre, there's no particular organisation, smells a bit, it's completely rough, it's got no great appeal, although it is next to a lake, and that bit's quite nice. It's all going all right so far. I've got to organise my transport to get out of here because the mission, let's not forget, is to go and find someone to help. So, trying to find a motorbike, not that easy. Realise I don't really speak much Spanish today, wish I did, but no doubt I'll find some guides and some help along the way. Not much to say really, apart from quite an interesting place. Big FSLN party today. That is, of course, Daniel Ortega's party. Daniel Ortega is the president again. He keeps being the president because he keeps slightly rewriting the rules on how long you're allowed to be a president. It would be like Obama saying, you know those 2 terms, can we forget the fact that I can only do 2 and can I do 3? That's what's just happened. So he's got back in, much to the celebration of everyone that's socialist, that enjoys his values. Venezuela, Cuba, and here in Nicaragua, left-leaning, socialist, look after the little man, a lot of that stuff going on, and that's really appreciated by a lot of the people, particularly the impoverished ones that were, until recently, illiterate. Good day. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Got to get out of here. Right now, too hot.
Yeah, how much is...
$.
Is it safe? Seguridad?
Yes. Secure.
Yeah?
Maybe 400.
So, what a couple of days. What a couple of days. Bought a motorbike, took all day, lost my confidence a lot of the time, was questioning what I was doing with the project, was questioning what the hell I'm doing in this country, was feeling pretty low and pretty stressed in Managua, thinking I don't know anyone, I don't know what's going on. I just had a feeling of elation. I'm on my own, I turned my phone off, I'm away from the crazy city of Managua, dirty, squalid, and frankly not very good looking whatsoever. And now here I am in the middle of nowhere, and you know what? It's never felt better. I just feel absolutely alive. And the fear and danger of driving a motorcycle in a city where I've just seen 10 crashes in the 4 hours I was driving around and got lost, you know, it wasn't good for the soul being there. It really isn't. So to be on the open road now, and just going for it. Finally, I'm starting to understand why I'm doing this project. There's so much more to go, and all loads of complication, but things are going well. From what have been massive lows, I'm now on a real big high, and that's travel, isn't it? Let's hope there's a few more highs. I'm sure there'll be some lows, but let's try and get some highs, and let's try and get a high for someone else. Let's try and make someone's life better.
one of the reasons that Nicaragua is so far behind, and it is a developing country, is that it's been plagued by a lot of civil war, not with any particular help from anyone else. In fact, you could definitely argue quite a lot of dodgy intervention for the United States of America. Civil War only finished in 1990, so since then it's really been a country trying to find its way and find its own feet. And it was time to visit a new town, so I went north to Leon, an old Spanish colonial town, very beautiful, and I wanted to talk to someone that runs a charity there that already helps out people, to find out how I can get my quest done to help at least one individual in some way. Andrew, thank you for joining me.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You would be forgiven, or the viewers would be forgiven, for thinking that we were in a lavish surroundings of a very expensive country. We're in lavish surroundings of a nice hotel.
Yeah.
But we are in what is a very poor country, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, poorest country in Latin America, economically at least.
You're a Brit and you've been living here for some years. Perhaps if you can explain what you do and how you fit into the picture here in Nicaragua.
Okay, well, I've been living here for about 10 years now, and I work for a charity which, my wife and I and some other friends were responsible for setting up, called Nuevas Esperanzas, which means New Hope. I came here originally as a water engineer to help out on some water projects that people were doing, and we came here for 2 years. That was 10 years ago.
Probably the reason I'm here is to try and help someone, which is a really broad and non-specific thing to want to do, but it's a bit foolish for me to even begin to think about doing this without talking to someone that helps someone for a living. You run a non-profit organisation. What does that organisation do?
Well, we work in rural communities. Haven't really done very much in urban areas. We try to be as broad as possible in the way we approach things. Now, I found that from experience, the economy of scale when you're working on projects, working with poor communities, comes not from doing like one project in one place and then repeating the same project in lots of other places, like we drill a well in one place and then we'll go drill wells in lots of other places. Right. Because the really time-consuming bit is getting to understand the people you're working with. That's the key for me. And so once you've really understood that, and you might start with a water project somewhere, but that will lead you on to, well, actually, while we're there, we've realised that, there's a big problem of access. And so what they really need is some road improvements, or it might be that they've got problems accessing markets to sell their produce as farmers, and so we need some help on the kind of commercial business skills for the farmers, or they might be working depending too much on one single crop that they grow, and finding that when the climate goes against them, they get a bad harvest, then they're really stuck for 1 year, whereas if they were to diversify their agriculture or they were to try some different things to ways of making money, we've done things like beekeeping projects, we do sort of promoting fruit trees, all sorts of things. Now tourism is a big thing. Growing here in Nicaragua is a hugely growing sector of the economy. And those things are ways of helping to kind of buffer that effect of when one harvest is bad. Well, there's other things to fall back on. Right, so
they don't put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly.
There's various things to
exactly. So so we kind of keep. I mean, we didn't think. I never thought I was going to come here and do beekeeping, and now we're exporting honey to the UK. I was like, I didn't come here to set up an export business for honey, but it's something that's just evolved out of, and it's evolved in response. And we didn't come here with those skills either. So we realised that beekeeping was a possible, option to help diversify the economy of the areas we're working with. So we looked for a beekeeper. We contracted a beekeeper, and 3 years on, we now have our own label and are exporting honey. So so these things kind of evolve. It's not about becoming big. I mean, I don't want to just say, look, we'll take on more and more people, and we're going to do more and more projects in lots and lots of different places, because I'm not sure you can take it to scale in the way that we work without losing that relational component, and that to me is key.
I see. I have to say from this very compelling conversation that it would appear that my brief mission is ludicrous in scale of the good that your group is doing on a daily level.
No, don't compare with our group. But no, I mean, of course it's ludicrous, and that's but that's the whole point. I mean, it's not. if we didn't start with a ludicrous proposition, we wouldn't do anything.
Can you tell me how, if I were to pursue this project, that I could find a way to help someone and not create envy, jealousy in a community, not build them something they don't need? Are there any tips that you can give me on what not to do?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, you've got to take your time. You've got to take your time to really understand. To come in from the outside.
Yeah.
And you've also got to not appear like you're offering something, because we go somewhere and we say, well, we're an organisation that we like to do these things. We like to build water projects. We like to help support local education, healthcare, whatever. And so, do you need this kind of assistance? Well, the
Everyone's
answer
going to
to
say
that
yes.
is going to be yes.
Yes. Would you like a new house?
Yeah. Would you like a house?
Yes, please.
Yes. And we've made these mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
My advice would be, you just chill about it. You ask very, very indirect questions, but maybe you even just lighten off on that agenda. You've come here to do something useful or to give something or to help somebody, but just
I've come here to film life.
Just lighten up. You just kind of want to understand.
Yeah.
Come here to understand first and see what evolves out of that. And there's so much in the world around us. If we take that time to actually care about what other people are saying,
right,
then these things are going to come out. The ways in which you could help are going to start to show themselves, and and then you can start to see, oh, there's something. It's not what I was expecting. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and I think we made plenty of our own mistakes, and I think it would be ridiculous to say you've got to study 7 years of international development at university level before you even get on a plane. I mean I think to a certain extent we all blunder into these things, even if you got 7 years of study in international development.
Yeah.
But it's taking the time to listen, taking the time to understand, and not try and force your agenda. Just understand first.
I was rapidly starting to realise that doing good is more complex than just helping one person, and that my project, although it does have good intentions, may well be a bit naive. I mean, look at these guys: engineers with degrees, fluent Spanish speakers, expensive and necessary equipment to help out people in rural areas, knowledge of the local community. And here I am, capable of ordering about 5 beers, which is, let's be honest, how I spend a lot of my evenings, and little knowledge of the issues on the ground. In fact, little knowledge of the culture, really. And that's what I need to learn. I can't just come in here like some wannabe Superman.
When I started this project, I always said that I was prepared to go out of my comfort zone. Well, this is it. This is quite a long way out of my comfort zone. This is borderline hell. Alright, let's get me out of here, for fuck's sake!
Stay calm. Stay calm. She's gonna help you out. She's gonna help you out.
Just get, it's fucking inside! That was really awful.
Still, how hard can it be? I know what not to do. I know that you don't go and build someone a house that they don't need, and I know that I need to get to know the communities. A lot of people think that what people need in developing countries is a house. This climate doesn't really suggest that you need a complicated house. Just a shack is good enough to live in. Maybe with a tin roof. As long as it's fairly rainproof, you can live quite well. What people really need is something to do, some stability, some projects that bring the community together. And that's going to be a little bit harder than just turning up and giving someone something. So it was time for me to take on what I'd learned and the advice that I'd received, and to take it to a place where I could think. A place that had a beach. I mean, after all, if you're going to help someone out, you might as well do it while you're hanging out on a beach. Time to get our map and find a cut-off beach down a dusty dirt track with a little community at the end of it. The map said that place was called El Tránsito.
Yo de dejar
Wrecking is good.
Mi cantar se vuelve gitano cuando es para ti.
¿Quién utilizó el pincel? Tinta de noche callada. Tinta de noche callada. Para pintarte la piel, el cabello y la mirada. Para pintarte la piel, el cabello y la mirada. Ay, morena, mi morena.
Welcome to El Transito, or El Transito. Apparently it's called El Transito because there was a farmer lived around here called Mr. Transito, which means Mr. Travel, Mr. Transit. And it's a weird place to be called El Transito because you don't really go through here to get to anything. It's where the road finishes and this beautiful beach city town starts. These guys are the fishermen. They're getting ready for a night out. They're going to be out fishing all night long for the likes of us, and it really might actually be the likes of us if you're living in the States or Canada. Some of the fish from here goes all the way up there. A lot of it's sold locally in market. You can pick one up in a restaurant for about $4 with all the rice and vegetables and all the rest of it. El Transito. Can I find someone to help here? That's the question.
Sí, no se acordaba dónde, entonces está y bien.
So, now on the ground in a town, it was my mission to find someone to help. There was already a charity here working that could help me help to find someone. That charity is called Nika.
Welcome to El Transito, or El Transito as I'm being corrected. Jonathan, hello. Thank you for joining me.
Benny?
Now, you're a man that lives here and you can tell me a bit more about this city. First of all, can we start with this? Is this the main street?
This is the main street here in El Transito.
There's not a lot to it, is there?
No, there's not. Just a couple of shops, and but not much other than what we would call a pulperia, or a little place you'd pick up a small snack.
So yeah, I've been sort of navigating my way around, and it looks very simple, but it also looks very clean. And I hear that you might be something to do with this. Tell me about what you do here.
I work for an organization called Nika, and we deploy about 50 people in the community through a program called the Community Development Program. And these folks help in the community with development, and in return they get an incentive such as building blocks or things to continue their homes, or at times food for their family. But
Can't you give them money? Is that not a responsible thing to do?
Well, unfortunately, one of the main problems in the community is alcohol. And a lot of the fishermen will take the money and just use that for alcohol. And what we're really looking forward to doing is providing those incentives to help the families.
Yeah.
Directly.
So those incentives are, as you say, building blocks, maybe food for the family. What else can people hope to get from you?
Some sustainable items such as livestock. Oftentimes the people in the community will raise a goat or a pig and sell the meat or the milk. So that turns out to be a nice little business for people. They can earn that in the program.
Yeah.
And also we have several students that work in the program, and they can get a computer, internet access for studying.
This is great. What do they have to do to get this free stuff?
Well, under the Community Development Program, we have several things that we're doing in the community. One of them, as you've mentioned, is cleaning up the community, just simply picking up trash.
Yeah, which is why the streets look so clean.
And within this group as well, we've got a recycling group that we're starting up where they can take the trash and possibly make something out of it and sell it, so it provides more opportunities as well. We also have several classes in the school, guitar classes starting up for the kids, and folks that are part of this program will be teaching those classes. So it provides opportunities for people in the community, as well as makes the community a better place.
So it's all good for all people that want to get involved, but I've got, maybe it's just my slight air of cynicism, but here you are, a white guy from the States, dashingly good looking like myself, here in El Transito. Don't you walk into communities like this and people say, who's this guy? Well, what's he doing? How is he going to help me? How would he know what I could possibly want? Is there a sort of restriction between you and the people that you're trying to help at first?
Well, absolutely, and especially at first, there's a lot of skepticism. They certainly are asking, you know, what is the ultimate motive of an organization like Nika or someone like myself being in this community? But with time and with relationship building, we've been able to get past a lot of those borders, and there is more trust. I think there will always be a bit of skepticism, but again, it's all about building a relationship and understanding the people and their needs.
I keep hearing the same thing from various organisations: time, commitment, getting to know the community, getting to know not just the community's needs, but the individual needs.
Absolutely.
And it's scaring me. I'm here because I want to help someone, and I'm feeling like my project is more and more naive the more I meet people like you that do this for a living, for a life. Not for a living, for a life.
Right.
And help other people's lives out. Is it possible to jump into a community like this, root through some people and try and find someone to help?
Well, I think you're approaching it the right way because you're working with an organization that has been here and working with these people for over 8 years. So
8 years?
8 years, yes.
Yeah.
So I think with our help, we can certainly assist you in developing a relationship or finding some folks pretty.
In that case, could you, if I were to put you on the spot, can you think of any people within the community that I might be able to help out?
Absolutely. I mean, there's several families and folks in the community that would be of interest. I'm thinking of a young lady right now specifically who's going to school and is committed to going to school, who would certainly be a candidate that you may want to meet and find out about her story.
After chatting with Jonathan, it was time to meet Valeria, a 17-year-old girl who'd had a pretty hard life to date. Her father was an alcoholic and had disappeared into nowhere, and just a few years ago her mother died of cancer. She's living with her grandmother in a very simple brick house, not far from the beach.
Do you think when Valerie gets older that she'll be selling fish?
Cuando Valeria está mayor, ella va a vender pescado también.
No, yo no quiero.
¿No quiero?
No. Porque quiero estudiar para tener un mejor futuro que este. Un buen
She wants
trabajo.
to study so that she can have a better future.
Yeah. Where did she get that idea that study is important?
No sé, porque desde pequeña no recibo así consejos de que tienes que estudiar, pero yo me lo he propuesto. Porque es importante. Si no, ¿cómo? Voy a vivir trabajando, lavando, planchando, pescado. No quiero eso.
Because she knows without an education she can only iron, get fish, clean clothes, clean houses.
Yeah.
But with an education she has other options.
It's remarkable. It's really great to hear. Tell her I think that's a wonderful idea.
Ella cree esto es excelente.
It's very importante. Do you know what you want to study?
¿Conoces qué quieres estudiar?
Tengo 3 en mente.
3.
Sí, periodismo.
Okay, journalism.
Si no quiero ser terapeuta, puedo ayudar hacia la comunidad. Y si no, maestra.
Or be a teacher.
Ah, teacher. You're already a teacher.
Sí.
Estudiar.
Ella va a ser un maestra excelente.
Yeah, very good. So the concern is not necessarily the money for the course, although that is some money, isn't it? About $1,000 or so.
Right.
But it's more the living expenses of living in Nicaragua.
Exactly.
And
Because right now she's providing, with her job here, she's also providing for her grandmother. Her grandmother's not working right now, and they have to provide for the home to eat.
Yeah.
So she's in university, and it's one thing that keeps a lot of kids out of school is they need first to have shelter and they need to have food.
Right.
That's first before education.
Yeah.
And
Shelter, food, look after the family,
Right.
and then if you can afford to go to university, and even if it takes 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back, then maybe that's an option, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. Well, I would like to ask the whole family to join me, and I'm going to cook them dinner.
Okay.
Probably sometime next week.
Okay.
Would you mind asking them that?
Él quiere cocinar cena para ustedes un día próxima semana, si es posible. Por
Yeah. Comida.
compartir con-
I'll be at the house that I'm staying at, not far
In,
away.
in
They have a
Julie's house?
kitchen,
Julie's house?
and it's probably the last meal they're ever going to eat.
Why?
Because I'm a bloody bad cook. No, I'm gonna.
Él dice, no es un buen chef, pero
It'll be good. Morning. Let me just turn the kettle off. I'm in the kitchen of the place I'm staying and I'm having a bit of a panic attack because I don't really know what to make Valerie and her family. I don't want to make them beans and rice, which is the staple here in Nicaragua. I want to make them something a bit different, but I'm having a bit of a panic because there's not a lot in the kitchen. I mean, in the fridge here we've got nothing. Then you've got your condiments. Now, there's hopefully some spices and stuff that I can get jiggy with. There is some curry powder. There's also some highly questionable mayonnaise. And also, I think what every poverty-stricken family needs from someone from the West that's trying to make them happy and do them a favour, I think what every family needs is a bag of piss. I actually really don't know what this is, but I don't want to find out. Anyway, so this very, shall we say, quaint, rural kitchen might not be the best place for me. Now, it does have an oven. So what I'm thinking that I'm going to go and get them pizza, which is actually a little bit more of a challenge than you might think, because I think the nearest pizza is about 1.5 to 2 hours on a motorbike. But I'm prepared to do it because, you know, it's a nice day and I want to give them a nice treat. So it's time for a bit of a jaunt to go to that all-American favourite, Pizza Hut. Right, okay, bit hot and bothered. Just drove 4 hours to get a pizza. Well, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. But that's not what's bothering me. I think what's bothering me is I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, which is weird. I don't know this girl, really. I like what I see of her. I love her spirit. But I don't know her. I'm pretty sure she's going to be happy with what I'm going to do. And I'm pretty sure she won't expect to eat pizza from Pizza Hut. I don't think she's ever had that. I don't know why I'm nervous. Maybe it's because... Why am I nervous? I don't know why I'm nervous. I can't see how it can go wrong. But I'm really nervous. Really nervous. Yeah. Well, she'll be here soon, and I think I'm going to change her life, which is why I came here, and that feels good. Oh my God, they're here. So, Jonathan, when you ask for ice, when you ask for ice, you get this.
Yes, that's right.
What are you supposed to do with that?
Break it.
Rick. And it's blinking. I'm not just blinking, you're recording. Now, if I move now... I've been in this town for a couple of weeks, And so far, so good. And now behind me is the moment of truth. The family that I want to help are together, and I'm about to give them pizza because I'm bloody classy. They don't know what they're getting, so I hope they like it. Yeah! Pizza de Managua! Pizza de Pizza Hut! There you go. Woo! It's hot. Calor. How do you say pass it round?
Pasen los platos.
Passen the plata. Spatula. This is what's used in the civilized countries of the world. Yeah, you wouldn't know, but it's this is what they use. Oh yeah, that's the daddy. There you go. There you go.
No sé qué se está engordando de estar en Nicaragua por toda la comida de nosotros.
Yeah, that's what they need. A new road. I have to say something. Last week is Semana Pasada. I have a confession to make.
Tengo una confesión para ustedes.
I live in Canada and I have quite a good life.
Vivo en Canadá y tengo una buena vida allá.
The only problem is sometimes it's a bit boring.
El único problema es de que a veces es muy aburrido.
And I decided recently that I would come here to Nicaragua and try to find someone that maybe could use a little bit of help.
Y entonces decidí venir a Nicaragua y conocer a alguien que tal vez necesitaría algo de ayuda.
And you're probably the people that I want to help a little bit.
Y creo que ustedes son las personas a las que quiero ayudar un poco.
Because I think you're really lovely and I think you're very genuine.
Porque creo que son personas muy agradables y muy genuinas.
And so I'm not going to give an enormous amount of help, but I'm going to help you a little bit.
Tal vez lo que le voy a dar no sea mucho, pero los voy a ayudar por lo menos en algo.
And the first thing I want to do is help you and your back.
Y lo primero que quiero hacer es ayudarle a usted con su espalda.
So wait 1 minute.
Así que espere un momentito.
You have a mattress.
Ahora tiene un colchón.
It's about time you had a mattress.
Ya era hora que tuviera un colchón.
And I hope that it helps you with your back.
Y realmente espero que le ayude con su espalda.
Now I'm going to do something a little bit bigger than that for you.
Voy a hacer algo un poco más grande para vos.
I'm very fortunate and I don't think the world is fair.
Soy muy afortunado y creo que la fortuna no es muy no es algo muy no ha sido muy buena para todos.
And I think everyone has the responsibility to try to make the world a little bit more fair.
Y creo que todos tenemos una responsabilidad para hacer el mundo un poco mejor para todos.
So if you promise me that you will work hard and do your best, I'm going to pay for you to go to university.
Así que si vos me prometes que vas a hacer bien y vas a ir adelante, te prometo que te voy a pagar la universidad.
Wow.
And I'm going to help you get there because I know that you need to get the bus.
Y te voy a ayudar a que llegues a la universidad porque sé que tenés que tomar el bus.
So I will pay for your tuition, I will pay for your transport, and if you need to, I will pay for some of your stay if you have to stay in Managua for a little while.
Entonces voy a pagar por la escolaridad de la universidad, voy a pagar por tu transporte y si en dado caso necesitas quedarte en Managua para poder estudiar, también voy a pagar eso.
All I ask for you is that you try very hard at school and continue to look after your family and be the wonderful person that you are.
Lo único que te pido es de que seas siempre la que está ayudando a tu familia, que siempre estés al lado de tu familia y que seas siempre la persona linda que has demostrado ser.
Will you let me do this for you?
¿Me permitiría hacer esto por vos?
Claro.
Yeah! Fantastic.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
It felt really good to do what I'd done and give Valeria the opportunity at education. And it really isn't that heroic. It's actually only $3,500 US for the entire university education. plus a bit more for books and transport and stuff like that. But I was so happy to give someone the opportunity to do something they wouldn't have been able to do. After all, that amount of money would be impossible to come by for a 17-year-old girl living in a very dusty small town that relies on a little bit of fishing and not much else. So, it was good. It felt good. And with that education, of course, she could really become something. And that's how you lift people out of poverty, as far as I can see. To give them an education and to arm them with the tools so that they can do things for themselves. It felt really nice. I went back to see her just a short time afterwards to see how that new mattress was working out for Gran.
So we're back in the house, and I think the grandmother wants to show me something. Let's try it. Oh, yeah! Ah, es mejor, ¿eh?
Sí.
Es buen comediante.
It is much better, actually. Where do you do your studying? Do you study here on your bed?
¿Dónde estudias? ¿Estudias aquí en tu cama?
No, afuera.
Outside.
En 1823, a 2 años de la independencia en medio en medio de la conocida guerra civil entre
Entre las
ordonistas y
sacacistas.
Un representante del gobierno I don't know. That was fun. Y ahora.
También.
Y ahora.
También.
Y ahora.
Ah, wow.
Okay. I'm back at Valerie's house and I wanted to check out a couple of things. Also, she's filming right now. This is her new journalist school. Yeah, could you ask her why she's still got the pizza box?
Quiero saber por qué tiene la caja de pizza todavía.
Porque la voy a dar para mucho tiempo, porque nadie lo invita a uno solo por así nomás.
¿Cómo? ¿Cómo dar asistencia?
Bike. Pásame cámara con la bike.
¿Qué es bike?
Moto, lo siento. Lo siento. Bike, moto.
¿Puedo ayudarte a llevar la cámara a tu moto?
Sí.
Sí.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. If you remember, I was supposed to help a girl called Valeria, and you can probably remember it because you've just seen it. But for me, that was a few years ago. I've heard a rumour that Valeria won't be going to university because I haven't been asked for any money over the internet, and when I researched into it, when I came back to this sleepy town, it turns out, yeah, Valeria had a kid at 17. A lot of people do that here. So, what can you do? You know, I think it's so interesting because perhaps this does represent the wider problem. Perhaps she is exactly what needs to change, and perhaps that change takes generations, and perhaps, for her at least, it's not this generation. However, I may not be paying for her to go to university, but I do want to go and say hello to her, and I want to check she's okay and see if she needs anything. Hola, Joseph.
But it is now I do not feel so sad and alone with the baby, that when I see your pretty face gives me a big smile and joy.
Hey, gracias. Gracias. Valeria plans on continuing her studies, I'm very pleased to say, and I absolutely am happy to continue funding them. And I think she'll hopefully be an important part of my life forever. I made a real friend there, even though she doesn't understand most of what I say, and I don't understand nearly anything she says. But I know she's a good person, and there's millions of them out there. So whether it's our own moral obligation, or whether we just decide to do a charitable act just for the hell of it, I think it's important to try in our own way, pathetic though it might be, to try and squash that wealth gap, and to try and do something to make the world genuinely a better place. Hopefully I have a little bit, and hopefully you will as well. Hello, my name's Vinny, and I'm a radio announcer in Canada. Okay. Can you get her in here? That'll spice things up.
Extra? We're doing the test.
Yeah, we're a big... I've seen that. It's not what you think. But it's great. Yeah, let's just do that. This film's shit. It's sometimes tempting to forget the poverty here. After all, they have Disney and stuff, and they have goats type... What? Oh, I see. It's very difficult for someone to find that amount of wonga. I don't know why it came in.
Did I sound like a little girl?
A little bit, yeah.
The only thing that's changed is there's a new cafe, and that's good because I just went to the old cafe and my belly is, if you put the microphone on my belly, it would sound like this. I might have to just go and see it just so I can use a toilet. Hi Valeria, haven't seen you for 3 years. Do you mind if I have a shit? You didn't go to university, you had a kid. Okay, can I have a shit now? Hello, I'm Vinny, and this is a fucking brilliant movie about stuff and things, and you'd better fucking like it because it cost me $10,000 to make the cunting thing, and so far everything looks like fucking shit. Fuck.
Rosa de Castilla, blanca de amapola, sabes que sin